It began on a stormy evening, the kind that makes every sound echo a little louder. The office lights flickered as the last few employees hurried out, leaving behind only her, the CEO everyone admired for her strength and precision. But tonight, that strength had vanished. She sat trembling in her wheelchair, her voice breaking as she pleaded, "Please, don't hurt me." The shadow that stood before her wasn't a stranger. It was the janitor, the man who swept those same hallways in silence every night. Fear hung thick in the air, the kind that freezes time and slows every heartbeat. Her authority, her wealth, her status, none of it mattered now. In that single moment, she was not a leader, not a boss, just a human being facing the raw edge of vulnerability. And that's when everything began to change. People often see success as a shield, something that protects you from pain, fear, or failure. But what most don't realize is that behind every confident smile and polished suit, there can be a heart that's quietly breaking. The CEO was a symbol of power to everyone around her, yet no one knew the silent battles she fought each day. The pain of losing her ability to walk, the loneliness that came with leadership, and the burden of appearing unshakable even when she felt fragile inside. She had built walls so high that even empathy couldn't climb them. It's strange how power can make you invisible in the most human way. No one dares to ask if you're okay. That night, as fear stripped away her image, the world finally saw not a CEO but a woman, human, flawed, and silently hurting. As she trembled, her eyes locked onto the janitor, a man she had passed 100 times without ever really seeing. Yet tonight, there was something different about him. He didn't rush forward or speak in anger. He just stood there, silent, almost peaceful, as if he carried the weight of something far greater than fear. His calmness was unsettling, almost eerie in contrast to the chaos within her. The flickering light revealed his face, not filled with rage, but with an emotion she couldn't name. It wasn't hatred, and it wasn't pity. It was something deeper, something that made her heart pound harder. He finally stepped closer, and for the first time she saw the quiet strength in his eyes, not of a servant, but of a man who had seen too much, endured too much, and was about to reveal a truth that would change everything. In that tense silence, she expected anger, maybe revenge, and after all, life had never been kind to those at the bottom. But what came instead was something she could never have imagined. The janitor knelt down, his voice calm and steady, saying, "I'm not here to hurt you." There was no bitterness in his tone, only understanding. The kind that comes from someone who has suffered but chosen peace over pain. He spoke about forgiveness, about how holding on to hate only poisons the heart of the one who carries it. She couldn't comprehend it at first. Why would he show mercy when he had every reason not to? Yet in that moment, his compassion broke through her fear like light through darkness. It was then she realized, true power doesn't lie in control or status, but in the courage to forgive when it's hardest to do so. As the tension softened, an almost sacred silence filled the room. The woman who once commanded hundreds now sat small and shaken, while the janitor she'd barely noticed stood with quiet authority. It was as if the world had flipped, the powerful reduced to vulnerability, the overlooked elevated by grace. In that reversal, the truth of humanity revealed itself. Status means nothing when stripped of circumstance. The CEO saw in him not a janitor, but a man with dignity, wisdom, and strength that no title could define. And he, in turn, saw in her not arrogance, but fragility hidden behind years of pressure and pain. Their roles had changed, but in that change they found something rare: understanding. For the first time, they stood on equal ground, two souls connected not by hierarchy, but by the simple, humbling truth that we all need compassion to survive. And then came the moment that neither of them could have predicted. With a trembling voice, the janitor revealed the secret he had carried for years, a story buried deep in the past. He spoke of a rainy night when a stranger had rushed to save a little girl from being struck by a car, staying with her until help arrived. That little girl was his daughter, and that stranger was her. The same woman, now sitting before him, fragile and afraid. The memory hit her like a wave. She had forgotten that moment of kindness long ago. Tears filled her eyes as she realized the circle life had drawn. The mercy she once gave was now returning to her in the purest form. In that instant she understood. Kindness never dies. It only waits for the right moment to find its way back home.